for chapter 10 of Proverbs. Let's start out with a little brief intro by Charles Ellicott. The Proverbs of Solomon, this begins. The new title and different style of composition mark a new collection of Proverbs. Each verse is distinct and complete in itself, but the collector appears to have endeavored to throw together such as touched on the same subject. For instance, verses 4 and 5 show why one man fails and another succeeds. 6 and 7, how blessings and curses follow different persons, but the connection is sometimes so slight as to be difficult to catch. Verse 1, the Proverbs of Solomon, a wise son maketh a glad father, but the foolish son is the heaviness of his mother. Now, why is the mother mentioned in the second clause of this particular verse? A foolish son is the heaviness of his mother. Isn't his father affected by it? Of course he is, but the mother is being pointed out. The occasion of her great sorrow, which is decently ascribed to the mothers rather than to the fathers, because their passions, the mother's passions, in general are more vehement, and they are more susceptible of grief and trouble. Verse 2, treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivereth from death. The Lord will not suffer the soul of the righteous to famish, but he will casteth away the substance of the wicked. And if you'll notice, this is ever so true, how all these millionaires and billionaires, you hear about all of them accumulating money, but then you also hear about the troubles that they have and how they live a life of just sheer misery. It actually profits them nothing. He that loveth silver shall not be satisfied with silver. He becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand. But the hand of the diligent maketh rich. He that gathereth in summer is a wise son, but he that sleepeth in the harvest is a son that causeth shame. Blessings are upon the head of the just, but violence covereth the mouth of the wicked. The memory of the just is blessed, but the name of the wicked shall rot. You'll notice here in Proverbs, the memory of them is blessed. The Lord himself actually blesses their memory, but the name of the wicked shall rot. And how many of those can we think of, the wicked, in whom every time that we think about them, it's such a detestable thought. The wise in heart will receive commandments, but a prating fool shall fall. He that walketh uprightly walketh surely, but he that perverteth his ways shall be known. So he that walks upright is sure, meaning that though a person be imperfect, as we all are, though you be imperfect and you've made so many horrible mistakes in the past, as have I, probably made more than any of the rest of you, but those in whom are with God, you'll notice a certain comfort about them, having no fear. Walketh surely means having no fear of inopportune exposure, because they have no secret sin. But then let's look on the other side of the table. He that goeth by crooked paths will be found out. That's what the other side of this is. Those in whom do evil and are not with God, they're just as imperfect, if not far more imperfect than we are, because their heart isn't with the Lord at all. And the fear of this being exposed and found out gives them perpetual uneasiness. Verse 10, he that winketh with his eye causeth sorrow, but a prating fool shall fall. Hatred stirreth up strifes, but love covereth all sins. Now let's pause really quick right here. This is very important because this is such a New Testament concept that it is also shown to men in the Old. It is believed that the reference is primarily to the blood feud, the existence of which led to the establishment of the cities of refuge. This proverb in its immediate sense has to do much more with just forgiveness. Hatred, which in the first clause tells us how it stirs up strife. Hatred keeps alive the old feeling of revenge and seeks opportunities of satisfying it. But love puts aside, forgets, and forgives all offenses against itself. This sentiment comes very near the great Christian principle, love covereth a multitude of sins, as Simon Peter points out. Love spreads its mantle over the sins of its fellow creatures and Christians and forgives them, even all of them. Instead of exposing them, hides and conceals them. And instead of loading and aggravating the infirmities of others, puts the best constructions on them, bears, and believes all things. Verse 13, in the lips of him that hath understanding wisdom is found, but a rod is for the back of him that is void of understanding. Wise men lay up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. The rich man's wealth is his strong city. The destruction of the poor is their poverty. The labor of the righteous tendeth to life, the fruit of the wicked to sin. He is in the way of life that keepeth instruction, but he that refuseth reproof erreth. He that hideth hatred with lying lips, and he that uttereth a slander is a fool. And you'll see a lot of these. These are I've known many people like this. Certain people really stand out, how they really don't like you. They really hate you inside, but they put on this little mask and they laugh in front of you, but behind your back, they're really spreading all types of rumors and everything. Ignore such. In the multitude of words, there wanteth not sin, meaning that the more that you talk, the more that you're probably going to sin. But he that refraineth his lips is wise. This is one particular proverb that I'm actually really trying to apply to my own life because I'm a big talker. I love socializing with other humans. And I find that so much of my conversation, it's not filled with, cursing or anything like, dirty or anything, but it's mostly just irrelevant and unnecessary. And it's spending too much energy that I could just keep back and let others do the talking. I'm really trying to apply this one. The tongue of the just is as choice silver. The heart of the wicked is little worth. The lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for want of wisdom. Now notice the two subjects right here, my friends. Let's not slip by this. The tongue of the just, like a preacher, is as choice silver. His very tongue is, the words that come out of his mouth. But the heart of the wicked is of little worth. So the tongue is mentioned in the heart. The force of the antithesis lies in these two words. Even the tongue of the one, much worth comes from the mouth of the just, but the very heart of the other is worthless. Verse 22, the blessing of the Lord, it maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it. Now, I'm sure that you all have heard the old expression, mo money, mo problems. Well, and right here we're being told about how the Lord adds no sorrow with the riches gained, whereas riches without God's blessing bring only trouble with them. Verse 23, it is as sport to a fool to do mischief. They do it just for fun. Oh, I've known so many like this. I believe that I was even kind of in this camp for a few years back in the day. But it is sport to them. It's fun for them to do evil. But a man of understanding hath wisdom. The fear of the wicked, it shall come upon him, but the desire of the righteous shall be granted. This so much sounds like that of one of the Beatitudes. He that hungereth and thirsts for knowledge shall be filled. As the whirlwind passeth, so is the wicked no more. But the righteous is an everlasting foundation. As vinegar to the teeth, and as smoke to the eyes, the thing that pains the teeth and the thing that pains the eyes, so is the sluggard to them that send him. It's as a messenger or a supervisor at work. If he says to a lazy man, hey, go and do this, we need this job done. Or even to a pastor, in whom tells his assistant pastor, he says, hey, I'm going to need this preached on Sunday, or I'm going to need you to teach this, the class this or that. And he sends a sluggard, a lazy man. It's as the pain to them that do so, because you just know that they're not going to get the job done. The fear of the Lord prolongeth days, but the years of the wicked shall be shortened. Now, this does confuse a lot of people. They see all these evil people living to 90 and 100 and all this, and then we hear about such good Christians. They die so early and such. They're stricken by many afflictions and such. Well, once again, as we alluded to at the beginning of our Proverbs study, how this is mainly to be taken in principle. If such calamities do not come upon a body, because nature does just work itself into these types of ways, but also there are other factors involved, my friends. There are many, many variables that it takes years to understand this particular thing. It's that God will at times allow the wicked man to live a long, long life because it's going to be the only life that he gets to really live outside of torment, but also giving him a chance to maybe turn to him. And, it's almost a merciful thing. But all of this is to be taken in principle, my friend. If a Christian dies young, they go to glory. Now, we don't get to see that, so we're stuck down here mourning, but we don't get to see just how wonderful that it truly is. It even says that the Lord rejoices in the death of his saints, but he doesn't in the death of the lost. The hope of the righteous shall be gladness, but the expectation of the wicked shall perish. This hope of the righteous, it really does take me to what Paul the Apostle, he says, and this is our blessed hope. And we have a blessed hope, whereas the others perish. The way of the Lord is strength to the upright, but destruction shall be to the workers of iniquity. The righteous shall never be removed, but the wicked shall not inhabit the earth. And of course, my dear friends, this points all of us to that in which Christ promised, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth."